this morning, I have Professor Lawrence Muganga, a person who is very passionate about AI, but also now seeing that it is a call for our institutions of learning to adopt AI. I decided that, yes, let's understand this more. Professor, you're most welcome.
Thank you very, very much, Robert. Good morning, viewers. It is always a pleasure to be here on UBC, to be specific on Good Morning Uganda Extra. So where we get an opportunity to speak to our people, wherever they are situated around the country or even beyond our borders. We hope that what we say, you pick a thing or two and try to, we better ourselves because we try to learn on a daily basis. I was also fortunate to be in a space like Mbarara that on the 25th when the National Council for Higher Education, which is the only regulator of higher education in Uganda, that does the program accreditation, institutional licensing, and ensuring quality assurance of every kind of education provided in higher education. So it offers that kind of oversight. So it organized its 60th higher education annual conference. So, and this was massive. Massive in a sense that they chose to tackle something that is big. I always wanted to use a metaphor, and you are a student of literature. I'm very sure you can't become a journalist without having studied literature. Much as on my end, it is one of the 98% of the things I studied that I never get to use. This is when I'm going to get an opportunity to use it. When I studied literature, there is a book, Things Fall Apart, by Chinua Achebe, one of those famous Nigerian writers. He said in it that when you see a frog in broad daylight running around, I want to presume maybe around midday or 1 a.m., you just know that there is something huge chasing it, and in that case, a snake, right? So now, where we are, ladies and gentlemen, really watching us this morning, we have also a snake chasing us, and if we are not careful, it's going to bite us, and worse still, it is going to swallow us, and that is artificial intelligence. People say I'm passionate about AI, but I can also tell you that in general, I'm passionate about education. Okay, I want meaningful education. I want to see your child, you the person watching us this morning, Robert here in studio who is hosting me, and even myself, I want to see our children really receiving meaningful education. Education that is impactful, education that makes them change their lives, lives of their families, lives of their communities, lives of the entire country, and make this world a better place. So, and now AI, artificial intelligence, is something that is coming in, and education must embrace it. So I was very fortunate to see that National Council for Higher Education gave it the limelight it deserves by hosting a whole annual conference, their 6th conference, and then to spice it up, to even make it the best, to give it the mileage it deserves. The Honorable Minister and First Lady of this country was there to lend a voice to this important topic, artificial intelligence. And she really gave us a great message, and also encouraged us to also understand that it shouldn't replace human beings, because we are going to remain human beings all the time, and also it should be used ethically. So That was really encouraging to see that we are moving in that kind of right direction. But maybe for clarity, for our people who are watching, I just need just 1 minute to break down this thing called AI for them.
Actually, that's what I wanted to ask you next. After clearly talking about what transpired, later on we'll have a look at what actually transpired in Mbarara, just to bring you, have a short clip of that story later on. But one of the things, Professor, that is very important, when you talk about AI, one would wonder, we are talking about this giant, we are talking about this snake, and actually we must be very honest, we are somehow behind schedule if we are to move, most when it comes to the various aspects. But one would want to understand in a layman's definition, don't go so educational, when we talk about AI, what is AI?
Thank you, Robert. You have actually said it very well, that we are, you said we are somehow behind schedule. No, we are very behind, okay? So we are totally very, very behind, and we need to do what? We need to do our, we need to do a great job to really catch up, but we are very, very behind. And I will explain. I'll come back to that later on. But let me try to really answer what you have just asked me. What is really AI in the eyes of a layman, a laywoman, a child, a student who is really watching this morning, or who may revisit the UBC platforms to watch later? So let us step back a little bit. It has been natural in how we were created, right?
Yes.
It has been only natural that only human beings, you and I and everyone watching this program, we are the only creatures, if I may use that word, that were endowed, blessed with the following things: to think, to learn, to communicate, to interact, and solve problems. You understand? We, the people, we were the only people created by God who can actually think, learn, relearn, communicate, interact, solve problems. Now, if you think about that, and that's what we went to school to learn. We went to school to learn how to communicate. Maybe eventually interact with one another, like we are interacting right now. But then later on, solve a few problems, because we have the knowledge and capabilities to do that. But today is which date? 27th? Today, on this very date, 28th, I guess, on this very date, in 2025, that is no longer true.
That you have the 5 advantages.
So we have a competitor who is even better than us. It is now the computer. Computer systems, the machine. Those computer systems can now think, can learn, can interact, communicate, interact, solve problems, teach themselves. For us, when we are learning, we are even taught by people. They can teach themselves. They can relearn. They can solve problems. You can ask for solutions. They can give you feedback very, very appropriately, better than even a human being can, and in the shortest time possible. So that is now what we call artificial intelligence. And we are moving even in stages. We are now at the level of artificial intelligence. We are also moving towards general intelligence.
Oh, what is that?
Now, that is when a machine, or the AI we are talking about, can actually think. But when you even ask this machine to think something, or this model to think something, it can advise itself, and it says, no, let me even change it better to give him what he has not even asked. I can beautify it than what he has even asked, and make it Or if you're asking it to do something wrong, it can understand that, hey, guess what? No, 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 no. This is harmful. I don't want to do it. And then it will take you back to what is right. So it is gaining conscience, like the way the conscience, the way we the people, we have that conscience as human beings to know that I can't do this, I will do this. They are also getting there. So that is artificial intelligence. So now, if you, the person watching us, or Robert seated here in studio, you cannot be worried about that, then I don't know what you'll ever get worried about. Because if you're educating your child to go to the world of work, then you think about it that perhaps the employer, when these things, AI is infused in robots, for example, we call them humanoids, that look like me. So meaning, these things can do the job your child can do, but they will do it even better. Why? They don't come to work late, they don't ask for salary, they don't get sick, they only use power, they don't complain, they have zero
emotion.
They have zero politics at work. Even if you ask it like 100 questions, it will never get tired. So who do you want to hire? The productivity is very high, not like a human being. For it can even work 24/7. So that's the machine we are talking about. So now, if we don't think ahead and we don't involve ourselves in learning, having your child learn artificial intelligence, then your child is going to be sidelined, and these machines are going to really do the job. But we don't have to go down that road, because we can learn how to dictate how this machine or computer system can behave. When you learn how to use it, then those, and I have to emphasize this, it may not replace anyone, but the people who will understand how to use artificial intelligence will replace you who doesn't understand it. That's where we are.
Now, Professor, very interesting to hear. Now, the First Lady, a story we shall look at in our break, urged higher institutions of learning to adopt. Now, let's look at Uganda's case. Victoria University, as a case study, I must say you have a unique way of doing things, because it is one of the universities, I don't know if there is any, but have come to understand that when it comes to issues of ICT technology, gadgets, you're in one step ahead, and that is the only university I first saw where you don't need a book, a pen, and carry all those things. You're required to have a laptop or a gadget. You don't get these courseworks of paper. They are never marked on paper. Exams, you're not going to sit there and they give you papers. Things are very complicated there. But of course, the modern way to go. Now, when the First Lady calls upon higher institutions to adopt AI, of course, well cognizant of the dangers it has, what exactly, how, what should higher institutions do? We have our traditional ways of learning at universities. We have some classes that are so huge, or even in the windows and all that. So how do we then venture? Because the National Curriculum Development Center, for it is easy to come up with a curriculum and say, well, this is part of this. But how do we move forward, Professor?
Yeah. Now, very good question, Robert. Let me help us understand how best can higher education institutions really integrate, adopt, embrace artificial intelligence. But also, you ask yourselves, why the rush? Why should we even? Okay? Now, let me tell you, recently, there is a report that came out from the World Economic Forum, Jobs of the Future 2025 report. Jobs of the future. And the future referred to is 2030. We are in 2025. Okay? A child who is 1 year old will be 6 years at that point in time, right? So, and 25 is just around the corner. So now, that report, to give you highlights, it is saying that by 2030, AI will contribute to the creation of 170 million jobs.
170 million jobs.
Ladies and gentlemen, 170 million new jobs that we have not seen. Okay? All right. It doesn't stop there. It also says that because of artificial intelligence and the emergence of different technologies, we are going to lose 92 million jobs.
Wow.
Okay? There is good news, there is
bad
news. Now the question you have to ask, if you are a parent, a student, a parent who is sending your child to school today in 2025, you are a student going to school today in 2025. If your parent asks yourself, will my student, child, really get a job in 2030? If you're a student, will I really get a job in 2030? Is my university educating me to secure a job within the other side of the 170 million, or it is educating me to look for a job within the 92 million jobs that are disappearing? And the chances are, if you look at most universities in this country, are educating young people to look for jobs within the sector of jobs that is disappearing, the traditional sector. 92 million jobs. So if those jobs disappear, then where are you going to work? Who is creating the jobs you are going to really call yours in 2030? So that's where, for us at Victoria University, we said no. We have to future-proof, keyword, future-proof the education of our students, those who come to us. Why? Because the world we know today, it is digitally driven, technologically driven, AI driven. You can't change that. And I'll give you different examples to show you that you cannot change that. That's where we are. The economics has fundamentally changed. For those who are investors, entrepreneurs, it is changing for the best because they're making more profits. For us, most of us, the consumers who have these children that can look for jobs, it is changing for the worst. But we can change to benefit from the best. So what we said at Victoria University, we said, okay, for every human being to fit in a digital economy, you have to have some digital literacies.
Yes.
You have to know how to use a computer, because that is a language now. It's not a luxury. It's a language to be spoken. How to use a computer. If you don't know how to use a computer, you don't know how to speak that language. So we said, please forget your paper, forget your pen. Those worked for our fathers and grandfathers. We cannot afford you to use grandparents or grandmothers' methodologies to address the problems of grandchildren. So grandchildren will need modern solutions. And now we have to provide modern solutions. So we said, please, come with a computer, a laptop. Come with a tablet. Bring even a smartphone. All those can be teaching gadgets, not for simply social media. No, we have policies that guide our students to use these things better for the good of learning. So exams digitally done, courseworks digitally done, teaching digitized, administrative tasks, most of them digitized. Because we want these people, by the time they spend their 3 years, 4 years at Victoria University, then they can have the proficiencies, the competencies needed within the digital economy. Now you ask me, how do we adopt artificial intelligence?
And Professor, you've just reminded me of something. Recently, I was on a panel of some international organization. Someone recommended me there to interview people for jobs. These were very good jobs, just that they were not in line with my profession. But they were very, very, what I was, fatty jobs. But I was shocked when these people simply, yes, they did advertise, but everything was digital. Now, can you imagine? They decide to have interviews via Zoom.
Yes.
It was unfair because people come in and then others are somewhere. A person is placed before the computer.
Yes.
And they tell you everything is going to be done via Zoom. Because when we do interpersonal, sometimes you may find...
Okay.
And I said, but these are fresh graduates.
Yes.
You're giving them interviews via Zoom, everything. This is our portal. It was so complicated.
Now that is, you have now nailed it. That's what I'm telling Ugandans right now. So you see, you go to you send your child to a university where they are still engulfed in using a book, pen, and paper. They are not exposed to how to use computers, digitized solutions. Then when they're going to do the interview, they tell them, you know what, it is going to be online, Zoom. These people cannot even set up a Zoom link for themselves. They can't even download the app. They are there and they just lose the opportunity just like that.
Many fell out.
Because all the businesses are in the business of saving money, cutting costs. Instead, and then they are even helping you. They are cutting your cost, transport, to go to that facility, that particular place. You're saving money, okay? Instead of you going there, sit in your father's room or even your bedroom or sitting room or a small office in the home with a laptop or a phone and answer the questions, and it is done. You save money, they save time. Look at now, Kampala is flooded. So you even save lives, okay? So now, I'll give you an example. You see this thing I am wearing, this, okay? Previously, I would walk around. When we meet and you don't know me, you ask for my business card. So, and that required me to print thousands of business cards, okay? Now, I'm destroying the environment. I am spending money, like I am moving with bulk things. But right now, this is my business card. You have a phone, you want my contacts, you simply tap on this simple thing and you get everything about Dr. Lawrence Muganga. Name, phone number, address, what I do, here. And even if you want to read more about me, my bio, here on this. I don't need to move with a pile of papers around the world. No, so it saves money, it saves the environment, it saves time. So you understand, that is where technology has gone. So
institutions, back to the institutions.
They have to save money. And if you are doing business and you're not looking for ways to save money, you who is in business, you have to blame yourself.
But Professor,
So you had asked me briefly to talk about how to integrate
How
AI.
to integrate it, that's the confusion.
Exactly.
See,
now,
very hard in my opinion.
Good enough, we have a regulator, National Council for Higher Education. And kudos to them, Robert. They did a great job organizing that event, the 6th Higher Education Conference, and specifically focusing on the adoption of AI. I really, really want to thank them. National Council for Higher Education, you did an incredible job, and we applaud you. Keep it up. Lead us to this future that Ugandans need, that we cannot avoid. So now, every university has the obligation, I should put it that way, it is no longer a request. No. We cannot afford to miseducate Ugandan children. Every university has the obligation. I am not the Minister of Education, but I'm also saying common sense, what I know that is real. Every university has the obligation to integrate artificial intelligence into the curricula, or each curriculum, such that the way students study ICT, a little bit of ICT, which is even more theoretical. Okay, they need to improve it to be more practical. There are better ways you can do that. We do that at Victoria University differently. The way they studied some communication into their programs, bachelor's degree or master's degree. We should also have some basic programming of artificial intelligence in every program to give these students some competencies, some skills of, let's say, prompt engineering. Learning how to use different AI tools that can support their learning. Now, what we have done at Victoria University, we have built a platform that has almost more than 100 courses of AI, like specific courses. You are into real estate, there is an AI tool that can actually, you can teach yourself, you can be taught how to be better in the real estate world. We have another program, and at certificate level, by the way, maybe you are in media, how to really adopt and use comfortably the new media, okay, that is really driven by AI. You are into, let's say, marketing. How do you market with AI? We have all those programs, and we have said, you, our dear students, here is the menu, the buffet. Now, you know your program. You know your aspirations. You know your vision. Choose at least 5 certificate courses from this menu that are going to supplement what you are studying, but are AI-driven. So by the time you complete your program, you must have completed 5 certifications in AI-driven programming. So that means, by all means, when you're done, you have AI competencies. You have the skills. So if you are into business, you know how to market your business with AI. You know how to and to prompt engineer, like ask the questions you need to ask to do anything. So that's where we have gone. But we can still do better. But also remember, for us, we have our students. Everything, learning has been digitized, assessment digitized, admin tasks digitized, everything. So it becomes easier for them. You don't have to teach them ICT because that's the language they speak. They do it on a daily basis as part of their learning.
No.
So, because someone wants to study, you have to pull out a computer or tablet and study.
Now, Professor, one of the things that came to my mind when I was following what was happening at the 6th Annual National Curriculum Development Center Conference was cost. Already, education is expensive in Uganda. And to be very honest, globally, there are very few countries in the world where I would say that education is cheap. Globally, education is expensive. That's why there's a saying, if you think it's expensive, try ignorance. But now, with the introduction of AI, which is the future to go, won't this make it even more expensive and make education for selected few? When I was at Victoria University some time back, of course the technology beat, by then I had to struggle to catch up with technology, this and that. But I remember for the first time not looking at a blackboard.
Yeah, we use digital smartboards.
Digital smartboards. Now, these digital smartboards are not a thing any institution maybe can't afford.
Yeah.
I remember at Well Victoria, there's a program where you can access a laptop and then pay slowly by slowly. I mean, pay in installments. But all these have a reflection to what my parent would pay, or the parent would pay, or the student would pay. How do we make this, even before we go to what government has to do, improve connectivity nationally and all that expense?
Okay, great. Very, very good question. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert is asking a very good question. But I have a very good answer for him. On the contrary, artificial intelligence and the digitization process is going to make education so affordable. very affordable. Now let me tell you why. Let's step out of our shelf, our cave of traditional education, where we think that a student must come and look for education or learning in the classroom. Then they sit in a classroom for 3 years and then eventually return home or where they came from expecting to go and do miracles. But remember, where you're going, they're asking for experience. You've been somewhere 3 years, piling notes, everything in your head, you call it knowledge. Okay? But of which 98% of what you have piled in your head, you will never get to use in real life where you came from. Because the world we are in today does not ask for how much you know. It asks for how much can you do with what you know. Because the things you don't know, you can ask this computer called the phone in real time. Or that's why they emphasize teamwork. You and I, Robert, and the viewers can come together and solve a problem, ask questions. What I don't know, you tell me, they tell us, then we come up with a solution. That is the real world. Not the things you piled up in your head to remember. Remember, even the exam, you do one module in different universities, we don't do that. You do one module, and then you do 6 modules or 5 in a semester. After 4 months, you sit an exam, they ask you to remember what you studied. And once you're done, forget, move on to another one. The world, it doesn't work like that. But now, when we, the higher education institutions, and even schools, other schools, when you invest in these digital platforms and equipment, this is what happens. If you have, for example, AI-driven library, okay? It means every student has their library on their phone, computer, laptop, tablet, anywhere, anytime, 24/7. They don't need to come to what? To the library. And keep in mind, setting up a library, physical library, is too expensive. You need books that are relevant, different editions. So we don't have that money. So once you go digital, AI can now bring the latest book that there is in the world about a particular subject in real time. And this student can be in Karamoja, can be in Fort Portal, can be in Kabale. They don't even have to be in my classroom, and they will have it 24/7. So you save money. You would have invested where? In the library. In the library, yes. You understand? So does that now come back to the tuition to charge? No. Now you don't have to increase tuition. That's what we have done. Number 2, if you have a gadget like this and you're going to teach ICT, for example, AI can give you a virtual lab, for example. And you have a gadget with yourself, a computer, a tablet, you name it. So you can sit anywhere in this country and be in one lab with the students, with your teacher. You don't have to have one place piled up with computers to teach. Like, you will never have enough computers to teach 10,000 students. So, but these gadgets can be owned by these students anywhere where they are situated, and then they tap into this kind of education. Then you save construction of the building, you save the cost of constructing a building, the cost of purchasing computers, the cost of having so many people cleaning computers. Like, all those savings, if you accumulate them, fees, actually you're supposed to reduce fees because you're no longer incurring that cost. That is the beauty and the benefit of going digital. That's the beauty of having AI. You are actually imparting knowledge and skills and competences required in the digital economy, because the more these students use these things, the more they become digitally compliant and they can work anywhere in the world without even leaving Uganda.
Yes.
So education will not be more expensive. There is a university today set up in Russia, okay? The university, and accredited by the government of Russia. This university has no teacher, no single what?
Teacher.
Driven by artificial intelligence, and it is offering degrees. Zero tuition. You understand? That's where we are going. Now, all Russians can now, I mean, they cannot have an excuse of having a degree. Zero tuition, zero fees, accessible anywhere, wherever you are situated. So you cannot extract a child from their community, cage them somewhere for 3-4 years, and expect them to become miracle makers when they go back to their community. They know nothing about their community. They need to learn these things within their community and use them, apply them to solving problems. Like if their father is a cattle keeper, for example, a farmer, and someone is doing agribusiness and everything, why would you keep them 4 years somewhere?
They leave the village, come to Kampala.
They can learn these things digitally when they are here, the same way you saw this person, this company asking people to do interviews on Zoom. But universities like ourselves, we have a platform, we call it V-Class, where a student can actually study from here in their own home where they're keeping cattle. Now they can advise their father, their mother, their uncle that actually we can increase productivity. If we've been really having 100 liters of milk a day, if we do this with the help of AI to figure out how much, the quantity of water we should feed these cows, the quantity of hay or grass that these cows need to have in this particular time, will give us this yield. Before you know, AI has helped you, or technology has helped you to have 300 liters of milk a day. From 100. That's the education that matters to this country. Transform. AI is going to show you that when you feed this and this, there is a chance that the growth of these animals is going to slow down. Or if you want to limit diseases or infections, don't do A, B, C, D. So you are getting your vet doctor on your phone without paying money, so you are cutting cost, you're improving productivity, you're getting richer, your family is becoming better off, the community is better off, you're paying taxes, the country is doing well, and we are rich as a country.
Well, very interesting when we talk about artificial intelligence. Like I earlier told you, Professor Lawrence Muganga is one of those Ugandans that are very passionate and believe that if we are to secure the future, we cannot do away with artificial intelligence, and that is something that higher institutions of learning should focus on very, very diligently, so that they produce people who can match up. Just like the example I gave you. Today, a person, they will advertise the job and they will not tell you, come to our office. They give a link, they give a portal. We are getting there, by the way. And now also when it comes to interviews, where you expect to see someone. Look at also government today, the e-government system. You know, completely. Those days where you had to go get a driving permit and whatever you would go through, get a passport. You know what? These days at the comfort of your home, you can apply for a passport, pay, even without going to the bank, using your phone, pay. And then you're only going at the passport office for interviews. And also to pick it up. Now, this is where we are going. But if you don't have the competences, it will be like those days when we had people who couldn't read, where I write a letter to professor, where a professor writes a letter to me, then I have to go through the village and ask who can read for me. So where was privacy? Or if they wanted to cheat me, they would. So that is what we are focusing on this morning. And I have told you that Professor Lawrence Muganga, he's one Ugandan, sometime back, whose book I came across, and it was based on artificial intelligence. Now, the book I'm holding here, I don't know if it can be zoomed, but this is one book that talks about the future. It says first artificial intelligence book in East Africa, and the publisher is there. Now, from chalk to
chatbots,
discovering This is
authentic
authentic education with AI. It is something that I really went through, and I just enjoyed page by page going into the future with AI. So if you can, well, I can guarantee you, I can tell you that this is something to look out for, because this is where we're heading to. And above all, it will also brighten you and enrich you with the knowledge regarding artificial intelligence. I just love this book. I don't know how many times I've read it. And every time I read it, I discover that indeed we must be very, very intentional. And I was also overjoyed when I saw that the National Curriculum Development Center now focuses at adopting artificial intelligence in our education system. The fear of expense, Professor, you've dealt with it. Well, time seems to be flying very fast. But I just need your parting shot as we move out of here.
Let me begin by where do they find this book? This book is in Aristoc. Everywhere you see Aristoc, go pick a copy. And let us try to understand, that's your copy, let's try to understand what is this thing called artificial intelligence? How is it really going to impact my life? Because you like it or you don't, it will impact your life. That's the fact. You like it, you can shy away from it, we can even say all the things.
I've seen it in the music industry. My God,
yes, it is going to either the producers embrace it and use it to be more productive, or it wipes them out, unfortunately. That is life. It's the same way when the mobile phone came. And if I remember talking to my mom that your daughter wants to speak to you on phone, like in late 1990s, I mean 96, 98, she said, no, I think, are you okay? Those are demons, they are in that thing. How can I speak to my daughter on that thing? So she did not understand that something can happen like that. So I really understand people who are scared about AI, hesitant to really think that it is a thing. But in 5 years, when you are looking for a job and you can't get it, that's when you will know that actually AI was a thing. Had I prepared as early as possible, I wouldn't be in such a position. But we have an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to embrace this animal called artificial intelligence. We may see it as a challenge, but every challenge brings opportunities. So I don't see it as a challenge. I see it as an opportunity that can give Uganda a fighting chance to really catch up with those who have left us, who are currently investing trillions of dollars in this very sector. For the first time in human history, I have never seen money as much as this being invested in artificial intelligence. No sector has ever received this kind of money. You find like countries like US, they're investing 500 billion. France, almost 130 billions. Europe, more than 200 billions. UAE, almost 1.5 trillions. The tech giants, we know everyone has an iPhone, has a Samsung, has an, all those things, you know, Google, everything. They are investing over 800 billions just in 2025. No amount of money in the history of this earth that has ever been invested in one field like this, like AI. Now the question is, you ask yourself, if you're a parent, and if you're a student, and if you are an education institution, why is it that these countries, why is it that these tech giants are investing these huge sums of money? The answer is simple. The future is going to be driven by this technology and in a dominant way. But we don't have to lag behind. We can do the best we can. We can have a policy, we can have guidelines, our government can start investing into this. Universities, we have to embrace this, because we are not teaching just our children. We are teaching children of this country, the human capital of the world, that we must depend on to be better off. Today I may be like this, 20 years from now I will be retired, and I will need support from my government, who knows, but it cannot support me if it is not doing well. So, but the people of the country, make it do well. So us at Victoria University, we have started walking that journey. We are proud of what we are achieving. And we are proud of our students and the parents who send us these students for having accepted to work with us in this digital era. I am sure you are going to see these fruits. And some of you have already seen these fruits. Wherever you're going to do some placements, you are told that you are actually the best placement placed students that they have. So I want to remind Ugandans that Victoria University is currently receiving new students. If you start senior 6, even senior 4, we have embraced what used to be UBTEB. It has a new name. Those certificates, because we know that those people are the backbone of the country. We cannot discredit vocational or technical education. We have created a whole institute for that, to take care of those people. You finished senior 4, please come to Victoria University, pursue your education. You can finish the certificate, you can do a diploma, you can even come to a degree. You have senior 6, straight, the intake is ongoing, the March to April intake is still ongoing. Please, you join us and pursue these programs that have artificial intelligence infused in them. Remember that the artificial intelligence we provide at Victoria University, we don't charge anyone a penny. It is free.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Lawrence Muganga. We've been talking and discussing artificial intelligence and its adoption into the curriculum of higher institutions of learning, which is the way to go. So wherever you are, please interest yourself. Have some knowledge, seek knowledge regarding AI. You never know how it will affect you or how you will benefit from the knowledge you will have gotten regarding AI. Have a lovely day. May the good Lord bless you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.